The Tradwife trend is a scam.
I'm 19 years old, married, no degree, no 9 to 5, and I'm exactly where I want to be.
All these fantasies are being sold to young women and girls.
I am a 19-year-old housewife.
This fantasy of like, you can find a husband and he's going to provide for you. And all you have to do is wake up every morning and have your hair perfectly done and your makeup's on and you're going to wear these pretty dresses. And all you're going to have to do is just bake bread and, cook and take care of your children. And everything is just like this big, beautiful fantasy. Anybody who's actually been married will tell you that that's not reality, even if you have a provider man. And we see younger women falling for this a lot more than women who are, let's say, in their 40s, 50s, and up, because a lot of them have probably already done the whole marriage thing, the whole wife thing, and have realized that it's not the fairy tale.
So as a 50-year-old former tradwife, I want to tell you what happened. Our husbands either left us, cheated on us, or were abusive. We had to get jobs that didn't pay much and apartments that were cheap to try to rebuild our lives.
I've got to say, the glorification of weddings is really bizarre to me. Ever since I was a young girl, I was like, this doesn't really make sense. All of these women are being brainwashed from like really little girls to dream of putting on the beautiful white dress and being like a princess and you have your special day. But I'm like, nobody really talks about marriage, because marriage and a wedding are two completely different things. A wedding is a party. A marriage is a life sentence. You have a woman dressing up like a princess. That's not what she's going to look like every day. She's probably going to not look anything like she did on her wedding day when she's really in the thick of that marriage. If they really want to show a woman what she has to look forward to, maybe they should start dressing brides in, I don't know, rollers, a cold cream, sweatpants, hair up, no makeup. Here's the mop and the broom. Here's the kid hanging off your tit. Show that. This is the thing. Like, women don't want to work. And I completely understand, because I'm a woman and I don't want to work. But it's unrealistic not to. For most people, especially in today's economy. In this economy, it is very rare that a woman is going to be able to rely on one man's income. That one man's income is going to be enough to sustain a wife, himself, 2, 3, multiple children, pets, a home, etc. It's not very common. And the women who are promoting this lifestyle and this fantasy, they know that. Because while they're pretending that they are stay-at-home moms and stay-at-home wives who don't have a job, the reality is they have multiple jobs. They're running a content business. The important thing to note here is that these women are building a brand. They are working. This is a job. They are selling you a dream so that they can sell their courses, products, affiliate links, etc. And there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want to do, if you have a passion for creating content about this subject. But you as a consumer and as an audience member need to be wise and understand what is being sold, because a lot of these girls are trying to remix what, let's say, Martha Stewart did back in the day. It was a different time where financially it was not completely unheard of for a woman to be a stay-at-home mom with children and things. It was more normal, it was more affordable. So we saw women staying home and being homemakers. The cost of living has gotten astronomical and insane. I know people who have a lot of money and even they're complaining. And they're the type of people who they'll never complain. But when you go to the grocery store and everything is priced as if we're at the airport, everybody's going to feel it. I'm just saying that if you're a woman, you're going to have to work whether you want to or not. I know that's such terrible, horrible news. The point is, these women are portraying this lifestyle that really doesn't exist. It's so funny because like this Tradwife thing that we're seeing is really just Girlboss rebranded. It's Girlboss, but with a banana bread. It's Girlboss, but with an oven. These girls are working. This is a job. This is a career. Their job is to make it look like they don't have a job. So what these women are doing is they're tapping in on the pain point that is very real for most Americans, but especially women. There's an exhaustion. Women are tired. These like 9-to-5 jobs and careers are not designed for women. And on top of it all, even if a woman has a job and she's working 9 to 5, if she has a husband and children at home, she doesn't get to kick her feet up when she walks back through the front door. She then has to switch into mom mode and wife mode. It's overwhelming. So I see how this sort of stay-at-home trad wife lifestyle would appeal to a woman who's exhausted. It might seem like a really great idea to her to be like, yeah, I would love to, find a man who's going to provide for me and my family. And all I have to do is just take care of the home and take care of the kids. And I don't have to clock in. And I could, then have all of this time to like put on pretty dresses and, bake bread and do all these little arts and crafts and whatever around the house. And it's like, if you were to speak to women who even are stay-at-home moms, a lot of them will tell you they don't have the time to do all of that because it is a full-time job to be a wife and a mother. But when it's your job to create pretty content, you're going to find the time to pull yourself together and portray that, image and that fantasy to your audience, because that's your business. And like, let's say this dream comes true, right? And you find that provider man and you don't have to work and you could just take care of the house and be barefoot in pretty dresses and not have to worry about any kind of financial anything. That's not always all it's cracked up to be either, because that can come to an end at any time at his discretion. I'm not saying all men, because there are generous men in the world and there are good men, decent men, but there's something about human nature where if someone knows that you need them, God help you when they decide you're no longer really useful to them. God help you if they change their minds.
I've been a stay-at-home mom and I have no income. I have no money. I use my husband's credit card and I use my husband's money. And 2 weeks ago, he told me that he wants to move forward with divorce. Terrifying.
The hand that feeds you is also the hand that can starve you. And a lot of women get screwed. Most marriages end in divorce. So if you've been spending 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, whatever, married to the same man and raising children, and your husband up and decides to leave you, there's no guarantee that you're financially going to be set and taken care of. And then what? What happens to you? Those 10, 20 years that you could have spent gaining experience, building your resume, building credit, etc., preserving an identity outside of just being a wife and a mother. Not that there's anything wrong with just being a wife and a mother, but you understand what I mean. You've got nothing. You will feel like an alien that has just arrived to Earth, and that's kind of how you're going to be looked at on the job market should you need to have a job after that marriage falls apart. The risk for a woman is very, very high. And don't get me started on the idea of a stay-at-home girlfriend, because that's even dumber, because you have absolutely nothing to your name. You have absolutely no say, no pull, no anything. There's no girlfriend box when you go to fill out your taxes. There's no girlfriend box when you go to the hospital, when you go to the doctor. You're essentially no one. Now, I will say, I do believe that men are supposed to provide. 100%. I do believe that. And I do believe that for the most part, a man is supposed to be paying for absolutely everything. However, the way that this economy is set up, that's not really the norm, and you can't really bank on that. The most important thing to keep in mind is that no matter what kind of man you have in your life, you need to make sure that you have something, that you don't give up certain parts of yourself, that you don't let go of your ability to make money and earn a living, regardless of whether this man is in or out of your life, regardless of whether he is providing for you or not. Dare I say, I have a belief that's going to be wildly controversial. I don't think anybody should be having children unless they are able to fully support those children financially by themselves. So if you are a woman, whether you are married, whether you are single, whatever your scenario is, I don't really think you should be having children unless you yourself can financially take care of and support those children by yourself. I know you might say, but child support and this and that. The guy could drop dead. He can get sick. He can go broke. There's a lot that can happen that could leave you with essentially not much to nothing, to maybe even less than nothing, because it's not unheard of for a man who fucked up, and men do fuck up. They fuck up a lot. It puts women in a very dangerous position, because if you are relying on another man to take care of you, that really gives him the opportunity to do a whole lot of damage. You're giving somebody a whole lot of power to do whatever they want. What happens if that man decides, what if he decides that he's not going to divorce you, but he's going to cheat on you? If you need him financially, if you're not going to be okay if there's a divorce, good luck to you. You're stuck. You're going to have to tolerate that. You're going to have to turn a blind eye, because what leg do you really have to stand on then? Some women don't mind. Some women don't care. There's women who, they don't care if their husbands are screwing whoever, as long as their bills are paid, the roof is over their head, and they don't, just don't do it in front of me. Don't embarrass me too much, just to all the who-was you've got on the side. However, I can bet that the majority of them, if they knew that they would financially be more than okay and didn't have that weird subconscious fear that's instilled in women that if you don't have a man, or your husband leaves you, that means something about you, I could pretty much guarantee that majority of them would be like, I'm good, and move on with their lives and have their peace and not have to worry about, him coming home and, wanting to lay down with you after he's been with God knows who, and then you're itchy. It's very scary. And it's even more scary to see girls being pushed this idea of being a stay-at-home girlfriend. I have no problem with getting a man to provide for you, have him be useful and helpful in your life. I believe that any man that is in your life and taking up any kind of energetic, physical, whatever kind of bandwidth in your life should be consistently making your life easier and better for you, whatever that means for you. For me, it means money, but for you, it might mean other things. I'm all for that. However, you have to make sure that you are good. Do not abandon your ability to make money. The only real freedom that exists is financial freedom. The only real freedom that exists is financial freedom. What money does is it doesn't just buy you nice things and convenience and comforts and all those things that very much it does. All of those things are wonderful. But what it more importantly does is it gives you options. It allows you to be in a position where nobody else can buy you. And so when you are seeing all of these, Tradwife influencers who are building a business out of looking like they're not in business, they're working around the clock, but trying to sell you that they're not working at all. Keep that in mind. Being a Tradwife is not have everything paid for free sort of life that you are being sold. It's a very, very, very expensive life, because it might not cost you money necessarily because whoever you're with is paying the bills, but it's going to cost you your life. It could cost you your sanity. If he's taking care of everything and he knows that you need him financially, otherwise you and your children won't be able to eat, or you won't get the lifestyle that you're accustomed to, that you've become accustomed to, he'll pull any kind of stunts.
As a former Tradwife, bird brain, pick-me woman, here's what happens once you get married. So in this lifestyle, you become a stay-at-home mom. And while the concept is great, you get to spend time with your children, you tend to the house, and the finances are taken care of, in reality, that is not the case. What happens is after a couple of years, your husband will start to resent you and his children. He will weaponize everything against you, such as the fact that you don't bring in any income. He will dismiss all the work that you actually do and only focus on the money to make you feel bad. Men now more than ever want this lifestyle, okay? Because they know it's the only way to trap a woman. And you think if he gets the opportunity to cheat, he's not going to take it. Let's say you're in that position. What are you going to do? Do you have the money to leave him and start your life? No, because he controls the finances and you can do everything right, okay? You can look good, you can work hard, you can have as many kids as he wants, the perfect woman, and it doesn't matter.
And this isn't me being a man hater, because I don't hate men. I hate everyone. But you have to also understand, if a man is giving you money, believe me, there is no such thing as a free lunch. He will make sure you earn every dollar of it in one way, shape, or form. So always make sure to take care of yourself, because the only freedom that exists, especially for women, is financial freedom. Be smart, play dumb, be smart.